Four rounds down, 5 rounds to go. After last round was scratched, the drivers in the Big C's MX-5 Challenge are itching to get back on track. This afternoon, that itch has a chance, though, to turn into nerves. Today, the top Mazda MX-5 drivers in all of iRacing are at one of the toughest drafting tracks for these cars to handle, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Who will come up on top this afternoon? We're about to find out on the Global SimRacing Channel. Welcome everyone to today's edition of the GTR Countdown to Green, live for the virtual Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Staff Lot, Belgium for round 5 of season 4 of the Big C's MX-5 Challenge. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the booth today is Adam Lindgren. With behind the scenes, our director Sean Ambrose. He's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Today's pre-race coverage is presented by GTR. GTR's racing simulators are currently used as training aids for professional race car drivers. You too can learn to ace that braking, sharpen those corners, and shave off those vital seconds. Whether you're a professional driver or a gamer looking for a more immersive way to play, GTR has your back. Get started today at gtrsimulator.com. Now, what's the best way to tackle this intense road course? Let's take a look at the GSRC lap guide to find out.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Spa. Coming up to La Source, you've got a great place for a pass, but be wary on the first lap. This hairpin is notorious for chaos, so be careful not to throw away your race by getting tangled up in the first corner. Another important thing to consider is your exit of La Source. You're now plunging down the old pit straight towards Eau Rouge, and you should be on the power for quite a while. Get the car lined up to the right and do your best to minimize your steering input into this incredible uphill climb. Just make sure you don't get a cut course at Radillon or you'll be losing positions hand over fist down the Kemmel Straight. This is where things will get exciting though. The draft in these MX-5s mean you will see two different types of drivers. One will be looking to use the slipstream to overtake all day long, and the other will be lifting and fuel saving to outthink their opponent in the race. However, if you can't make the pass on the straight, the braking into Lacombe offers a chance to seal the deal. Keep your head on a swivel though, because your competitor can fight back from the outside on the switchback to the left. From there, you'll swing the car through Malmedy at the highest part of the circuit. Now we fall back downhill into Ravage, and this 180-degree corner can sometimes offer a chance for a sneaky overtake. It's also got some awkward camber, making it easy to understeer. Square off the exit and switch sides quick to get the car set up for the left-hander. This is a corner that invites confidence, maybe a bit too much confidence. Try not to overshoot the exit to avoid a 1X. Now, if you look up, you can see the pit complex way down in the valley, but we won't be there anytime soon. Hold right and then gently coax the car into Pouan. Lose the rear and anyone behind you will be coming in blind and can likely plow into you. Lose the front, and thankfully, you've got a parking lot of paved runoff on the exit to save you. Still, it's important to carry your speed because as we bring the car to the left, you're going to have some decent braking into Fagnes. This isn't that interesting of a chicane, but getting the right line is still important to your lap time. The exit, though, is not a big deal because it's a very short acceleration zone to Stavelot. After all the drop in elevation, you finally reach the lowest point of the circuit. Get the car steady and lined up so that you won't need a lift into Curve of Paul Frere. You'll need every ounce of momentum once again down the backstretch. The little bends throughout means minimizing your inputs will help your speed. Just like the Kemmel Straight, draft battles are likely to take place on this stretch. It's just a little more awkward with the way the natural line weaves you across the track. You want to get single file by Blanchimont though. Even though it's flat out in the MX-5, it's still not worth trying to go side by side. After that comes the braking for the bus stop chicane. This is your last best chance to get an overtake in. Because of the high speeds, a lot of guys fall victim to overshooting it, so even if someone's later than you on the brakes, you can still get the spot back. There's one final spot where you can rack up a 1X, so get yourself a clean exit. Hopefully, you held it all together, and as we come back to the line, we finished a lap around Spa.
That was a look at your GSRC lap guide for the best way to get around Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. But with more information, let's bring in our co-announcer for today, and Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this tough race?
Well, Justin, the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps is the scene of Big C's outing today, and while this 7-kilometer or 4.35-mile track may be a very technical and precise track for most series, the Big C's Mazda MX-5s make this place a dangerous draft track. With 102 meters or 335 feet of elevation gain from the highest to lowest points on this track, these cars and drivers will be struggling up Eau Rouge, Radillon, and the Kemmel Straight, tucking in behind one another to try and reduce at least one natural force trying to keep this car under wraps. The same will be true as they slide out of Stavelot up to Blanchiment, using the wide track to try and block or make passes. But it's not all straights here at Spa. The 19 turns will provide respite for the road regulars and stress for the oval aficionados. But regardless what your pedigree is as a driver, you will have to tackle both aspects well in order to win here today. Speaking of winners though, Justin, our series leader knows the taste of victory, isn't that right?
Absolutely. Let's take a look at your driver's standings. We're up at the top of the board. It is Jaume Damasis Torres. He was the winner at the last official race in Interlagos. Then the man in second, the man in the backdrop, just 4 points behind, and in a good situation to gain more points today and try and take the unofficial race lead in the standings. We'll talk about that in a moment. He is 4 points behind. It's Robert Hartley, the two-time champion. Logan Clampett missed the last round. He is third in the standings entering today, while Clifford Eben is in fourth. Racine Fazui has missed the past two races. He's 35 points back in P number 5. But of course, there's a lot to discuss. Let's take a look at the race details next, Adam, to discuss what to expect in terms of the series for those tuning in for the first time.
Definitely after the scratch round last week, that leaves us at round 5 of 9 with 2 drop weeks available for those points. The race length today is going to be 40 minutes and the setups are open, so that makes this very interesting. Fixed. So that makes this very interesting when it comes to being more of a driver's series for sure. The incident cap is set at 20 and you can get those pretty quickly here at Spa, so they're going to have to be really careful. And points are only awarded for first to 15th. And with the large field we have today, Justin, that's going to make a lot of people out of luck today.
54 drivers trying to bring their cars out of the garage area for qualifying. One thing to note, that is a straight disqualification at the 20 incident point. Let's take a look at your track conditions once again, as it's going to be a pretty cool race today. 81 degrees Fahrenheit is the track temp, 78 degrees the air temp, clear blue skies, no wind as a factor in qualifying, and humidity at 56%. Nice cool day for an evening start time race.
Yeah, definitely. A couple more details that we managed to miss is that they only have about 3.3 gallons of fuel, so I can go about 25 minutes into this race before they're going to have to pit again. But also, if they get into any trouble on the track, they also have 2 fast repairs, so that means that one wreck isn't going to put you out of this race. So you're going to see probably most of these cars finish today.
Indeed, right now the drivers are competing in 4-lap qualifying, solo qualifying sessions for from the next 15 plus minutes or so. Many of the drivers have completed their first or second laps. 251.1s at the top of the board by Robert Hartley, James Sharp, Kenny Brady, Christian Lindroff, and Juan Manuel Fernandez round out the top 5. As you take a look at Rachel Williams, she's looking to have a good starting position today in the A51 machine. As you follow along off the corner exit, let's see what the time looks to be. Pretty downward on the board, but many drivers looking to compete themselves up, including a driver that has found victory here before, and Maxim Bunovic. You're looking as Bunovic tries to come across the stripe. What will the time be up at the board as he looks to get an official place up on the stat sheet? Moves himself to a pretty decent start for the qualifying session. Many of these drivers continue to go across the track as you follow along with Berger up on your screen here, one of the Viking machines. Let's talk about the situation which happened last week. Originally, round 5 was scheduled to be at the new Lime Rock Park, the newest official iRacing scan of the venue after their Road to 60 project that had been unveiled and opened in 2017. However, due to a power outage in terms of servers, unfortunately, the race was not able to begin. So, the original round 5 was scratched, and it was moved to a 9-round championship for this season. Unfortunate circumstances, but still, there is still a lot of racing up for grabs here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, and these drivers here, Adam, want good starting position.
Definitely. It's unfortunate not to see these cars take on the new skin of that favorite track, but it is good to see these drivers racing again as we watch Jose Malbran go through the final corners. This bus stop chicane here. We're going to see what kind of time he could put in. He's currently at the 246 mark. He's going to cross the line. Let's see what kind of time he can put in. His last was a 51.788.
Moves him up a bit up on the board, and these drivers are building up more and more speed as the laps progress. It should be expected these drivers could have the fastest time right about now, essentially, for them, including Robert Hartley. He's currently coming now to his final lap. Lost a bit of pace last time by, though, dropped to a 2:51.639. Lost 2/10 a lap as you look at Semanek.
Yeah, Pavel is he's gonna be under pressure to put in a good time. His last was not quick enough at 252.064, so he's gonna have to put in a good lap here to get up there battling for the points positions, because we've got 251s all the way down through 12th position, and so he's gonna have to improve that time in order to be up there battling for points.
252.442 last time by to the finishing line. Did not count. Had an incident point on the lap. Let's talk about the importance of track position here, especially in this series. We've seen drivers move 30, 40 positions before. However, with that top 15 only earning points, it can be difficult to get yourself into the points-paying position or the conversation for the race win. How crucial is qualifying in that type of a situation to make sure you're not in the back of the field where there's potential for incidents or not getting to the lead draft pack?
Definitely, the draft pack is going to be extremely essential, but considering the draft is uphill for the most important portion of the draft, which is on the Kemmel Straight, that's going to make it really difficult for these drivers, because if they start towards the back, they're not going to be able to claw their way forward very much on that uphill section. Their best chance at that point is coming out of Stavolo, and even then, they're going to have to go through a couple of really complex sectors in order to make up positions, and by that time, that lead pack's going to be gone. So qualifying vital right now as we come into the last minute 30.
Some of the last drivers setting their time. So far, 47 drivers have put in official times. You follow along with Berger now. Let's see what Berger does. He's 16th up on the board at the moment in the 6th machine. Moves himself up to the top 10 with a 2:51.795. Still 6/10 off the pole, but his second lap is his fastest lap so far.
Yeah, Robert Hartley has the fastest time, and he's got 2/10 on Kenny Brady, but then from there, all the way back down to, all the way back down to 19th position is all well within about 2 to 3/10. Just, there are like 15 cars under a blanket right there, Justin.
You're looking at Semanek right now at the moment. He's one of the drivers that's in 18th spot. He's still got a bit of time. Nostalgic, I should rather say. Pardon me. There is the man on the screen, the 53 machine in the black and blue machine. This is the Atlantis machine getting loose and bobbling around on his last lap. Looks like he might have got an incident point somewhere. One of the drivers that is down at the bottom of the board, however, Brandon Hawken, a 2:52.016 is his official time, just finishes 4 laps. He'll be in 17th position, one of the favorites usually in the Big C's MX-5 Challenge, will be in traffic today.
Piotr Margula coming across the line. He has a 254.8 under his belt. It's going to be a different story here. He's not going to improve on that lap, so we're going back to Clifford Eben, who's crossing the line and improves by about 5/100.
So that will wrap up qualifying, but let's go to your sim racing studio starting grid. Want to enhance your sim racing experience but don't feel like spending hours doing it? Sim Racing Studio creates a plug-and-play sim racing accessories and software to enhance your experience without DIY effort. SimRacingStudio.com is where you can go for more information. Let's take a look at how these drivers will start a big grid today. 53 total will make their way to the grid. Robert Hartley, the first of those drivers. Kenny Brady qualifies second, about a 10th and a half back in P number 2. James Sharp is in P3. Christian Lindroff starts in 4th with Juan Manuel Fernandez in 5th. Juan Francois Pinot in 6th position, Jose Malbran in 7th, and Travis Schwenke, a name familiar to many drivers in the MX-5 veteran group, is in 8th. Clifford Evans starts in 9th. Nicholas Berger rounds out the top 10 out of him.
Steven Van Opstal is going to start off in 11th with Ari Hyro starting in 12th. Nicholas O'Short comes in the Baker Dozen position alongside Miroslav Nostalchik. And then we have Graham D. Sanders and Tyke Ming, rather, who's starting off in the 16th position on row 8. Then we have Brandon Hawken and Pavel Simonek in the 18th position. Then Nico Averlomi, and then Marcus Ayatolin starting off 20th.
Absadik Bootkaboot starts in 21st, Tyler Max in 22nd, Nicholas Pignor in 23rd, Jonas Seeger 24th, Nick Carty in 25th, Nico Kako in 26th, Renaud Lefebvre in 27th, with Thomas Greschler in 28th, Austin J. Smith and Ashudi Maeda round out the top 30. Rest of the drivers will scroll on your screen as they continue to get ready to grid, just about 20 seconds or so before they get the green lights to get to racing, your quick key to victory. Adam?
Yeah, my quick key to victory is just staying in that front draft pack. It's going to be intense. They got to be very, very careful as they stay up there, though. No incidents to start out.
That's going to be very crucial for these drivers today. Robert Hartley will bring them in the charge to La Source to start things off today. Rev those engines. It's time to go racing. Green flag is out. We're underway from Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And a bad start from James Sharp. Drivers already ducking to the grass, making it 3 wide. As the Movado Sim Racing machine already trying to fight as 4 wide in the pack.
Fortunately, everyone's been able to keep it going forward, except for we have some wrecks in the back. That's Astushi Maeda facing backwards, but everyone else managing to keep going as they go down to Kemmel for the first time.
Cars still scrambling on the exit to La Source as they make their way up towards Radion and El Rouge. Hartley already under attack of the front by Brady, and the fight is on for 4th position already. Lindroth battling more drivers in a big one.
A complete disaster in the background.
Drivers at the edge of the top 10 on back. Semanek involved. More drivers crashing up the hill in the 20s. A big incident for multiple drivers as you follow along with the battle for 4th position. Already a crazy start to this race. Drivers going 2-3 wide to begin the act.
Yeah, Justin, that was about 20 cars that were involved in that incident in the back, and we have quite a few in the garage right now, so quite a few people are going to be out of this race, even just at the start.
And already the top 5 drivers have gotten a breakaway. Lefford Eben, amongst the biggest movers in this first lap so far, went from 9th all the way up to 6th position. Meanwhile, Van Opstroh also booked along with Short in that second group, trying to reel in the lead pack. A crazy start to this race, and a black flag for the 123 machine to start off his day.
So we have a top 6 breakaway, then we have about 3 cars behind them, and then even more cars. We have probably about 4 or 5 packs on this with this track right now, but it's that top 6 that are in the best position to try and battle for the win.
There's still a way to go, though. An estimated 14 laps to go for these drivers. Hartley making his way now out of Stavlon along towards Blanchimont. Hartley still leading the Straff group with a good launch, but Kenny Brady looking to get a run. So is Pignot, so is Mulbrand. Lindroth rounds out the drivers in this top 5 at the moment on the racetrack.
Yeah, Brady, it looks like Brady's going to be a little bit patient here with Hartley, just kind of being a little patient with, while Jean-Francois Pinot behind him, looking to the inside. Is he going to dive in here? He thinks about it, and it looks like he's going to stick a nose in. No.
Having to back off is Jean-Francois Pinot, who started in 6th position. The Viking France driver already inside the top 3 as he beat the first circuit of an estimated 14 laps to go. 37 minutes up on the clock. 2 minutes 53 seconds to start. Contact! Drivers getting hit from behind. Pinot getting hit by Mulbrand. They keep going. All drivers able to straighten it out.
That was very, very close, and that damage might be a little bit interesting. These MX-5s are known to get a little bit of engine damage pretty quickly, so it'll be interesting to see how they pull coming up here through Eau Rouge and Radion.
Yes, indeed, and this is one of the main drafting spots we talked about. And it could get interesting once they get to off the Kemmel straight. Brady, will he try and save fuel, go for the lead? He'll go for the race lead right now. Hartley lets him go to the left side, side by side, 2 rows deep. As Mulbrand tries to make it 3 wide on the corner entry, backs off the gas, but Brady takes the lead.
Malbrand definitely thought about trying to get in there for second position, but Robert Hartley was just able to outbrake him a little bit and coming into the corner. So Malbrand now in a good position to try and challenge Hartley for that second spot, but Kenny Brady is not out of the woods yet.
And the second sector is such a technical portion of this track where this is where the road course skills come in, compared to the oval enthusiasts you talked about in the intro, where if you don't have a good swing through this section, you're either going to be in trouble or you might lose the draft of somebody if you don't have a good run through the technical corners. This could be the difference between a win or a loss today, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely can. If you don't get these technical sectors correctly, if you don't get them right, you're out of this. You're not going to be able to catch that back draft, and then you won't have an opportunity to pass for the lead. So it's going to be all about staying with the lead pack until the final laps and then trying to make your move.
Indeed, they're working their way through campus at the moment as these drivers make their way through. Currently, the top 5 already 3 seconds ahead of Clifford Eben, who leads group number 2. As they cycle their way through, let's take a chance to see what happened on lap 1, because it involved a lot of drivers. As you mentioned, 20 plus. And this was all up the hill towards the approach to Radion in El Rouge, as well in the Camel Straight. 2 different major sections of incidents. It will be right here you see the carnage start to unfold as it collected a big bunch of the field.
Yeah, definitely. It is a huge mess. It's hard to keep track of who all was involved in that, but just in the back of the portion of your screen there, you just see a lot of MX-5s going completely off track. We're going to see the 41 here as he approaches the incident and see what happens with him. He approaches it and it's already happening. He's got nowhere to go. He's able to snake his way by, but man, look at him. All these cars just getting collected, all these cars going off. That is a major, major, major incident. I haven't seen much like that in my time doing league racing here on GSRC.
They were going 3-4 wide in that section. Look at that. People were flipping upside down in there. Wow.
It's amazing anyone made it through that, Justin.
And that took a lot of the contenders out of this race. Travis Swanky, a veteran in the MX-5s, was amongst the drivers. We see Nico Arwilomi involved in that one. Paul Rigoli, he didn't make the start. He might be someone that, if he ends up taking it out of the garage area, might be able to get himself a good run. But these drivers are getting some good runs in the draft, where Robert Hartley retakes the lead. Jose Malbrand was able to get by last time through Blanchimont. He'll cycle back to second position. But already the drafting train getting reeled in by half a second this past lap.
And I can report that Simonek had some problems. He got punted in the final turn after he was involved in the earlier wreck that happened on the first lap when they went through the first turn. And he's now, oh my goodness, this battle for the lead is starting to heat up though. Look how close they are. It's on line abreast.
Not only that, the second group is within range now of the top 5. That's how big the draft can play. They were in the 251s, in the 4s to 6s in group number 2. Group 1 was in the 252s. So right now, Clifford Eben, Nicholas O'Short, Stephen Van Opstrow amongst those drivers who are definitely pedaling it around to try and get inside the draft of Lindroth.
They definitely are, as we see. That is Nicholas Berger going around that wide corner there. If this pack can stay together and stay close together, they're going to be able to make that front pack from a 5-car pack into a 12-car pack. And then all things are out the window. You can't just play your strategy anymore. You got to be very careful about defending and letting people by while not slowing yourself down.
How do you keep your cool in that type of a situation? Because some of the drivers in practice were trying to test, can they stretch the limits to up to 3 wide for passes? Speaking of passes, Malbrand trying to go for one in the lead group as they go for the side draft up in front of this second pack. Malbrand is now the race leader for the time being. But to get back to the question, how do you keep your cool when you have so many chances for back and forth passing?
Well, it's just one of those times where you just have to think strategically about it. You have to remember that you're not going to win the race on this 3rd lap. You're going to win the race on the 14th lap, and that's when you got to make your move. So just let people go by and try and regain those positions later on in the race, because otherwise you're going to be in trouble.
Robert Hartley backed off the gas last time heading into the final chicane and dropped to 4th position in the train might be thinking fuel strategy, but Clifford Eben, take a look at that. He is closed in to just about a second and a quarter or so, and one of the fastest drivers on the track, the fastest, his second driver in line, Nicholas O'Short, with a 2:51.138.
If they just decide to do some bump drafting up here, which I saw some of the guys practicing in practice as well, if Nicholas O'Short just decides to bump draft Clifford Eben, they're going to get up to that front pack. So if he just sticks right behind him and bump drafts him, let's see what he does here. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to bump draft Clifford and get him up to that lead pack. Then they're battling for the lead instead of battling for 6. That's a smart play.
Yeah, very smart move, and a way for Short to save fuel himself as well. That's something some drivers have talked about, is if you do a pump draft properly, you can save a little bit extra and be able to get your fuel marks, because we've seen races won on fuel strategy at tracks such as this, and this is a big track where you don't want to run out of fuel.
You definitely don't want to run out of fuel, but at the same time, you want to make sure to get in and out with at least one other person so that you have that speed of the draft. If you go in and out alone, you're going to be losing precious time. These lead packs, they're running in the 251s. That was the fastest qualifying time we had. So that's impressive speed for race pace. So they need to make sure that they have draft partners. Otherwise, they're going to be in the 150, in the 252s to 253s, and then that's your race over.
The gap is down to about a second for that group. So they have reeled them in, as these drivers at the moment trying to make sure they're in a window. Drivers are currently having a situation, though, in the 13th on back grouping at the moment. Those drivers are fighting for the edge of the points today. Nico Kaku, along with Nicholas Ignore, I should rather say, along with Horsley and Austin J. Smith amongst those drivers. They're all fighting at the edge of this bubble spot, and already they have fallen 10 seconds behind the second group.
Yeah, that means that they probably won't be able to catch back up to them unless they work extremely well together. We're seeing Austin Smith right in behind Andrew Horsley for that 15th position. That is the final points position. That's the yellow hooded car behind the blue hooded car. And so those two are battling it out for the final points position. Here comes Pinoir on Kako, though. This is going to be interesting. He looks to the inside, but decides better of it, but that's going to give Horsley a good run coming into the hairpin.
We'll see if anyone elects to go for a pass, this time to the final chicane. Ignore backs off. Horsley goes for the top line. Smith goes for the bottom. Many others send it in hard on the brakes as they nearly touch. No one swaps positions, though, except to the back of the line where Nick Carty and Jonas Seeger will make a move. Lead group, though, has grown to 12 drivers. The group has closed up the gap. Eben, Short, Van Alpstro, along with Hyro, Nostalgic, along with Berger, and Juan Manuel Fernandez are all within the range of the lead group.
That was Pinot going wide. He's collecting another incident point. That's another thing we haven't talked about yet, is the incidents. You only get 20 around here, and Spa, it's really easy to gather incidents, so they're going to have to be very careful at that. But look at this. Pinot with a run, Hartley with a major run, but I don't think anyone's going to make a move here. They're all just going to stay in line, save some fuel, and make some speed. Take a look at that. That's Maxime Bunovich with a very fast lap, a 250.7. That's a purple lap for him. Impressive.
Indeed. Some good laps up on the racetrack at the moment. And still an estimated under 10 laps to go. Should note that the 10, 11, and 12 position drivers are trying to swap positions because remember, Fernandez does have damage in the 12th place car. That's the 91, the Elf-sponsored machine. He hit the back end of James Sharp right at the start as he tried to make a pass in the grass. That might slow him up a bit. That's on the left front. You can see it up in the shot a little bit there, where that might affect his aerodynamics the rest of this race. And now he's going to have to hope he can stay along with the top two drafting drivers you follow along with right now.
Yeah, that was Nicholas Berger getting passed by Nostalgic. Nostalgic doing a great job just making that pass. He thinks that he's faster than Berger, and he's probably going to be able to make that work. Whereas Fernandez behind them with that damage that you saw on the hood, that's going to be significant in the draft. Unless he can get right behind him, he's going to be in trouble. We're going to go on board with him. You could see that bent up front bumper right there on the left side.
And he also got some rear damage too in this race so far from a later on incident in the 91 machine. So he's got aerodynamic problems at both ends of the race car, and right now this stretch of drivers, they fell to the high 251s. The lead group is now in the high 250s. So they're going to have to hope that someone gets reeled in and they get some numbers in quick.
Yep, that breakaway of 3 is starting to fall off the back of this front pack, and that's because that front pack is not passing one another. They're just staying in line, so that actually makes them go faster. And so that's what I was talking about with the fuel strategy. Yeah, you want to save fuel, but at the same time, if you can crank out faster laps than everyone else, you're going to have a significant speed advantage as we see them go side by side again, that pack of 3.
Fernandez taking advantage of the opportunity. Berger tried to go for the swap in the middle of the final chicane. Couldn't complete the pass, however, as they'll now get a bit of help potentially because Max Brady was going to come out with them, is instead going to stop on the side of the racetrack and pull it back to the garage area after coming back on the circuit. So check that, as they were 2 seconds slower than the top 9 last time by.
Speaking of the top 9, we're going back to the top group here, and Kenny Brady right on the bumper of Malbrand. He had an opportunity for the pass, but decided not to do it. That's Pinot blinking behind him. Pinot's thinking about popping out, but he decides not to. This front pack is being very tidy, and that's making them go very fast, Justin.
Yeah, line to stern, this time in the 251s once more. No one making the dive quite yet, and again, they all have to remember they have to pit. The max they can go is about 25 minutes. They just reached the under 25-minute mark on the clock about 30 seconds ago. So these drivers, I think at this point, trying to play smart and think big picture here and try and stretch as long as they can, because the more they can stay on the track, the less amount of fuel they can put in. The less amount of fuel they need to put in, the slower I should rather say, they'll have to spend in the pit stop. Or faster the pit stop, rather.
Definitely, and as you saw when they were coming into those first couple corners after the Kemmel Straight, you saw at the top of the screen that pack of 3 cars behind them was still side by side. They're losing even more time now, so they have officially dropped off the back of that group, but they're still 12 seconds ahead of the group behind them. So this front pack now of 9 cars, they are the ones who are going to be battling for the lead, barring any surprises.
Speaking of that pack, P15 has become a hornet's nest. Kako just got passed just a second ago by Horsley, while Brock goes by, one of the drivers we are seeing the first of this season, wants to get in points, is making contact in the tender machine, and there goes one of the drivers breaching the incident limit. Potentially that is Nico Kako, who is now off the track. Nico Kako off the track.
Wow, 15 minutes in and already at the incident limit. That shows you just how quickly you can collect incidents around here at Spa. It's one of the things you have to be very careful of, no matter what series you're driving on iRacing, is making sure to keep an eye on that incident limit.
Yeah, he might have been one of the drivers, and believe, yes, indeed, was one of the drivers who had to dodge their way through the incident at the start of the race, and now his race is essentially done. They're still fighting this group. Seeger, Maxon, Austin J. Smith shuffling for position right behind Broncos Buys. Broncos Buys 303 machine looks to run away. Maxon sends it hard up the inside for contact.
Major contact with Gareth Broncos Buy. That's going to be a significant rear end damage for him, a significant front end damage for Maxon, and he's going to try and make it 3 wide. Maxon's not done moving yet, but we're going to go check out this replay as Maxon makes the pass on the 2 of them.
Austin J. Smith immediately sent to the pit lane as he hit the back end of those cars in the stack up. Just a massive dive and an immediate black flag for avoidable contact.
Yeah, that was just a really rough incident. There's nothing you can say about that. Austin Smith's having to come in. That's probably his race done with. That's really troublesome for him. And Justin, we only really have 20 cars that are clean left on this track. That's really quite a number.
Well, to give a slight correction there, Smith took the faster pair and is in the fuel window. The problem is, he's not going to be in the draft for once everyone else comes to pit, so that might be the situation for Smith to potentially put him out of the points. But the lead group, they're still line to stern trying to save the fuel. No major shifting in the positions quite yet. They're coming to an estimated 7 laps to go with the circuit.
So they're reaching They're going to reach about the halfway point on laps soon with the halfway point on time. There's going to be a 20-minute mark coming up when they cross the line this next time as we look at Kenny Brady getting a pretty decent run on Malbrand, but we know he's content to sit there in second. But yeah, it's going to be all on that fuel strategy. It's going to be whoever can hold off the fuel the longest, but also whoever has teammates or friends or just another car entering the pits with them so they could draft off of them going through Eau Rouge, Radillon, and the Kemmel Straight.
I was about to say, right now, none of these drivers are teammates except for the OTR cars. Everybody else is on a different team from one another, so what do you do at this point here, Adam, in terms of finding friends?
Finding friends, you just come in when you notice other people coming in, and if you're in the lead, you just have to hope that when you decide to come in, someone else does, because if you're Jose Malbrand or even Kenny Brady, you don't have the opportunity to see what the other cars are going to do ahead of you. Here comes Kenny Brady. He's going to look to the outside, but he's going to hit the brakes a little early. He's definitely saving fuel now, Justin.
Yeah, he is definitely saving, and two drivers are ducking in, making more. A huge train of drivers slide their way into the pit lane. Malbrand, Brady, Hartley, Lindroth, Eben, Short, Van Alpstroe, along with Hyro, along with Natalchik, Fernandez, and Berger all duck their way into the pit lane for fuel.
Yep, this is going to be a major thing. Everyone's coming in. We have Vinovich behind them, Pinoir, Horsley. Everyone's coming to the pits. Look at this chaos in the pits. It's almost like a NASCAR pit stop.
Everyone trying to rush their way into the pit stalls. We'll see who's going to put in what amount of fuel on the stops. And Pignot is the only driver not to pit in the lead. Drivers are taking tires. Robert Hartley taking left sides. Many others doing the same here on the circuit here, as they'll have 7 laps to get around the racetrack. Off and away go many of the drivers, with just left sides only for majority of the competitors, and contact with the wall. Hartley with some trouble.
Yeah, Hartley hit the inside wall pretty badly, but he's out ahead of Lindroth now.
Oh, and a spin. Kenny Brady spun around on the pit exit. He tries to get back going. 3 drivers forced to dip and dive to get around the spinning 54. He spun himself off the pit exit. We'll see if he got a bit of help. No, he did not. Just hit the gas too hard off the exit.
Oh, and he comes out ahead of a couple of other drivers. Fortunately, they're able to dive to the inside and not get a black flag for crossing the pit lane. But that was a dangerous rejoin from him. That was very close.
Yeah, that was scary. A scary spot to lose control, unfortunately, for him. But Hartley under attack by Lindroth, now at the top of the lead group, was just making a pass. Brady has filed back to the second group of drivers now. But Christian Lindroth having the best sequence out of the drivers, up to the lead for OTR for the first time.
But here comes Hartley back on the inside. He's going to try and make this pass and try and get back to the lead. He's going to hold himself up as well as Malbrand behind them. So Lindroth and Hartley making a battle here. This is actually losing them time to the cars behind them, but Jean-Francois Pinot, he's in the lead right now, but he's kind of strung out. He's got no teammates. He's got no one driving with him, no draft. This is going to make him slower. We're going to have to see where he comes out when he pits.
Only the top 2, for the most part, have not pit so far, Seeger and Pinot. As this is going to get interesting for the 64, he is not going to have the draft of all these drivers shuffling about. Hartley wants to get up to the point.
Contact!
Malbrand, contact! Sends around the OTR machine. A big-time bobble for the save, able to keep it straight. Multiple drivers check up as Malbrand tries to pull away. Once again, though, sent off into the sand trap is Lindroth.
That is 2 times that he was sent off of no thing that he did. We're going to take a look at this. This is a very, very unfortunate incident for him.
Yeah, this is a 2-parter technically. First, you have the pass attempt where Malbrand accidentally hits him in the back end. Just a little bit in the subway machine. Major save, gets it corrected towards the back end of the lane. Then, one of the AMS cars accidentally clips him at the edge of his tire. That sends him off into the sand trap. That was with the right rear after the bobble from the 44 machine. That was Van Alpstroe that accidentally made contact, and in turn, losing spots. To the back of the train goes Lindroth.
And Justin, Pinot is in right now. Jose Malbrand coming around, exiting right now. Let's see whether or not Pinot can get out ahead of them. My guess is that he won't. Hartley does not want to take this line behind him. Here comes Pinot. Let's find out whether or not he's going to come out ahead of this group.
18-second pit stop, 2 seconds less. with the pit exit, he comes out with the race lead. But the problem is, they're going to have major amount of speed behind him with the slipstream potential.
But can they catch up to the back of him, Justin? I don't know if they can catch to the back of him by the time that they get up to the turn. So if they can't, that puts him effectively in the lead.
Yep, for at least for now, but there's still an estimated 5 laps to go next time by, where Pignot will watch along as Malbrand follows line for line. Robert Hartley also lined up with Clifford Eben. Will anyone go for the dive? Yes, to the right side of the subway machine goes Hartley. He's got some help. They look to freight train him up the right side on the inside of Lacombe. Able to get by is Robert Hartley, and already they're inside the draft of the 64.
Yep, that's Pinot. He actually managed to make it work. He's now in the lead of this race by pit strategy alone. Those 2 seconds on pit lane meant that he could regain the lead. That's impressive. I also want to report that Brocklesby has gone out as well. I believe that that was another DNF, so he's unfortunately out. Gareth Brocklesby in the 303 machine. So a lot of drivers starting to run into the incident limit, and we have 15 minutes left in this race.
Warning in for Van Opstrow for the contact with Lindroff, the second part of that situation, as Pignot still tries to hold on. Remember though, Blanchimont, one of the toughest places in terms of the draft. It's going to get interesting to see how defensive he'll get. He'll have 5 laps to go at the finishing line this upcoming time by. How aggressive do you be if you're the 64? Do you defend or do you try and fall back and then get a slipstream in the closing laps?
I think it depends on how strong you feel. It's going to be situational, moment to moment, whether or not he defends or not. I think Jean-Francois has made his position with that pit stop, but you don't want to get mired back in 4th or 5th. You want to make sure to stay at least in 3rd if you are going to get past. So it's going to depend on whether or not he feels like he can retain position that way.
Absolutely right now. 4 drivers are lined up astern at the moment. Then you have 2 more drivers in short, and Van Opstrow hooked up. Then you have Hyro trying to get some help at the back end of the line with Lindroth. Then you have a 4-car train in 10th on back, featuring Fernandez, Kenny Brady, Nicholas Berger, and Miroslav Natauchik. And then you have Maxim Bunovic on his own as trouble.
Take a look at this. Hartley just trying to block off Malbrand, because Jean-Francois Pinot went actually extremely wide on the exit of the corner. That's going to make him slow up to the first turn. Hartley's got Malbrand right behind him. Malbrand is actually looking to do the pass. He's going to go to the inside now.
Trying to go to La Source, dives it up the inside in the subway machine. The team V10R driver cuts off Hartley as Hartley gives him a love tap.
It's about as tight as you can make it, but Hartley, look at that. He's breaking out to the outside. He doesn't want to get that much of a draft. He wants the draft going up the hill, so what's he going to do here? He's holding off to the outside. He ducks in behind Malbrand. Let's see whether or not he can gain up the hill.
See Malbrand getting a good run out of El Rouge. He moves to the left side of the racetrack. Defensive line for the 64 of Pignot. Hartley, what will he do? He'll try and make it near 3 wide as he cuts off Eben to the left side of the racetrack. Dive back to the right side goes Pignot, near contact and close racing battle.
Pinot really stuck it up the inside. Malbrand was not expecting him to be there, but gave him the room. But that enables Malbrand to regain the lead. Hartley goes by Pinot. Here comes Eben on the outside, trying to go around Pinot as well. They head to the downhill.
Pignot now giving up the lead, sliding his way through Bruxelles Hills as he tries to battle for 3rd position. The OTR machines have hooked themselves up at the end of this drafting train. The lead group features 8 drivers, coming to 4 laps to go this time by, under 12 minutes to go on the clock.
I'll be 100% honest, Justin. I think that Clifford Evan actually is in the best position right now. He's in that 3rd position, and that 3rd position gets more draft than just about any other position on this track, even with a 0.5 second lead up to those front 2, because they're battling. That's allowing Clifford to gain. Look at him gain up to the back of those 2. If he could just stay in that position going into the final lap of this race, he might be able to make the pass at up the Kemple Straight and maybe be able to hold on to it for the whole lap. But that's his opportunity.
Thing is, though, drivers are going to be hungry to get to that 3rd position to try and get themselves set up. But Evan has been daring. Remember, at the start of the race, he made it 3 wide to get himself to 6. Hartley wants the race lead back side by side as they work their way through Blanchimont under the DHL bridge.
I don't know about going around the outside of these corners. They're very difficult for the MX-5 to hold the inside. Let's see whether Malbrand can do it. Oh man, Hartley goes wide. That's going to be another X for him, and he's probably getting pretty close up there. But here comes Evan with speed. He's going to look at the inside as well, and they're 3 wide going into the hairpin.
Evan forced to check up, allows the drivers of Pignot and Nicholas O'Short to dive the way by, and now O'Short's up to third. They're still side by side, with Van Opstroll trying to attack for the edge of the top 5, while Hartley tries to go hard from the inside, back to the outside, heading to La Source to aim himself for the corner. Dive bomb again to make it 3 wide into the tight La Source turn 1.
Yeah, Evan's getting swarmed by cars that are taking the corners a lot deeper than he is. He's going to have to get his elbows out as they're 2 wide for the lead again. That's Hartley and Malbrand side by side. Malbrand this time is going to have to back it off as Hartley gets the better of it. But here they come up through Eau Rouge and Radion. They're going to come up to the Keppel Straight, and that's going to give Malbrand the opportunity. But also Nicholas O'Short's going to have the best shot of them all.
Right now, the fastest cars on the track, Fernandez and Brady, a second quicker than the lead group. Fighting such as this is why. They're side by side again. O'Short, Nicholas O'Short wanting the lead for the first time today. His 46 machine breaks his way past Robert Hartley to take the point.
And there was contact in the back between Clifford Eben and Van Opstal. Clifford Eben just putting his car in front of Van Opstal there on the results of the corner after the side-by-side contact. But Eben now up to 4th position. That's a pretty good shot if he can close up the gap behind those guys. He's got to make sure not to get out-braked as we look back at Van Opstal behind.
Penalty for Nicholas Berger, made contact with Miroslav Nichalczyk. That was the 11th and 12th position cars, as they just made contact in the past half a lap or so. In fact, into La Source. That is the reason for the black flag. You still follow along with the lead pack of drivers, though. Back over now to Nichalczyk. Nichalczyk's reason for dropping back, again, the contact in La Source last time.
Yeah, it's got to be, you got to race clean around here. These guys are being very, very careful about making sure to manage the race very well. So we're going to take a look back at the pack back here.
And it's been a surprisingly quiet race for Brandon Hawken. He has stayed in the back part of the field, started 17th. He's in 19th position. This is a surprise for Hawken, one of the usual favorites from the Bovano Racing Team camp.
And we saw those incidents happening up front, and so back when they were happening with the 20th place cars, that's probably what got him caught out. But take a look at this lead pack. They're catching up to lap traffic now.
You can see that traffic. That is 38th place in Sean Tretiak. In the 05 machine, much slower through Blanchimont, trying to move to the left side of the track. Will anyone use a pick? Hartley tries to move to the left side. Malbrand to the right side, this time to the chicane. Coming to 3 laps estimated to go. Under 8 minutes on the clock. Multiple drivers forced to go single file on the dive. Malbrand with a better run out of turn number 20.
Yeah, there's a lot of bumping and banging there as they went through. That was Malbrand making contact with Evan, making contact with Van Opstal. So all of those drivers struggling right now. Here comes Malbrand up the outside of Hartley, who's trying to go the inside of Short.
Lights are turning on for some of the race cars with this late evening start, turning towards 9 o'clock local time in the sim for these drivers. 3 wide this time. Hartley pulls the ejector's cord as Malbrand goes to the lead once more, heading up Radion into Eau Rouge.
What an impressive move from Malbrand, just to stick it up the outside. He had no room there. He'd go on the grass. Hartley was the one who had to back out, but now Hartley's in a good position in that 3rd spot. But look at all these. We got 6, 7 drivers right in this draft pack. We're going to see who's going to be able to make a move. Here goes Short.
Short with help from Hartley now. Tries to go back to the lead once more. He got the lead last time in the section, does once more. At this point, who is your favorite to take the victory? Because it seems Malbrand, Short, and Hartley are the most aggressive up in this league.
I'll be honest, Justin, it's going to be whoever's in 3rd place going up the Keppel Straight on the white flag lap, which might be the next time around. We're going to have to see. It's going to be very tight. It really depends on who can position themselves well in this next lap. Maybe 2 in order to get in that position. I couldn't tell you who's going to win this one, Justin.
Yeah, this is up for grabs potentially here. Hartley tried to dive himself to the inside here in sector number 2. Elected to back off as you look from Nicholas or Short's left rear quarter panel. He tries to find a way to keep this point, and you gotta be wondering what's going through the minds of some of these drivers at this point out.
And what's going through the mind is, how do I get myself into a position to make the pass for the draft? There's not much more they can do than what they're doing, but you also want to make sure that you're not losing time to the leaders trying to make a pass further back in the pack. So it's really a risk versus reward situation as they come out of this corner. They're going to try and get it on this straight and try and make some more passes done.
P number 9 and 10 has closed up to these drivers to that point because they are losing about a second a lap from the fighting. Side by side again for the race lead, this time up Blanchimont. Mulbrand's trying to work his way from the right side. Short trying to work his way hard on the left side, does make door-to-door contact. Side by side, heading towards the final chicane once more. Coming up, 5 minutes left to go.
And it's going to be tight to see whether or not everyone can make it through these corners safely. Yes, they can. Impressive driving from all the drivers out here. Contact between Evan and Hartley. But Hartley going up the inside, looking at the grass. He's going to come back onto track because Mulbrand gives him the room. But man, this is getting really tight.
It's going to be tight for the time as well. 4 minutes, 40 seconds up at the clock. It's going to get interesting to see who comes away with a double W side by side. Brady's now amongst the drivers in the mix. Up inside 7 positions, side by side in multiple positions in this group. Mind you, they have clear track for much of the circuit to fight all the way to the checker flag. Next lap traffic is at least about a quarter of a track up the circuit.
Yeah, so that means that the next lap will likely be the white flag lap. So these guys are going to have to battle it out. Here comes Short again, or on the outside. That's Robert Hartley on the outside of the next corner. Mulbrand tucked up behind him. Here we go, 3 wide for the lead.
3 wide up the middle. Mulbrand makes the move. Still a lot to go. Contact. Driver sliding. It's Christian Lindroth having to save it once more as he backs off the gas in the 21. The off-track racing machine nearly went off track once more, but was able to stabilize it once more.
These drivers are really duking it out here. They're trying to get every position that they can. Everyone's jockeying for position right now. Oh, look at that. Hartley right on the back of Mulbrand. Mulbrand has guts to try and make these moves that we've been seeing lately from him, but he's making them stick. Look at that short off-track line.
You can see the difference in the racing lines. Hartley wanting to try and go towards the left side and make himself show the nose on Mulbrand. But all that checking up gave them about a 3 to 4 car length cushion to 3rd place. How much will that factor in here coming to 3 minutes to go?
Well, if Hartley's smart, he's going to just stay tucked in behind Mulbrand coming into the final chicane here, and then try and make the pass on the Kemmel straight, because Mulbrand has been able to make it side by side with those guys. It's going to be white flag at the line when they come around this time as they come back onto the back.
Under 2:40 to go. Takes about 2 minutes and 52 seconds to 2 minutes 54 seconds to get around the track. As they get ready to get that white flag this time by. Mulbrand going defensive. High line goes Hartley. He's got the slipstream heading into the bottom part of Blanchimont to retake the point with the slipstream. As the rest of the drivers regain their ground, they can have one shot while Kenny Brady absolutely rode his way to a top 6 behind them. Final chicane, white flag is up towards the finishing line. 1 lap to decide it for round number 5 of the Big C's MX-5 Challenge. Who will take home the trophy?
Clifford Evan was pushing Nicholas O'Short up to the back of those front 2 ahead of them. Robert Hartley taking the inside line, trying to break the draft from Mulbrand. We'll see whether or not Mulbrand crosses him up when they come into the corner. No, Mulbrand's going to try and make the pass on the Kemmel straight. Here they come. The final shot out of the cannon. Who's going to take it?
Mulbrand's been very aggressive today. One of the top drivers. He's in the 2nd spot. Short back in the draft. Clifford Evan, keep an eye on him as well in the top 4. Up towards Radion and El Rouge they go once more. This is where the draft can be set up with a good corner exit. Hartley with the slide up towards the top. He tries to go defensive. Flips along the curbing on the bottom side. Mulbrand tries to ride up on the top side. Short tries to follow the draft. Hartley breaks up the toe. Gets back in the toe with a 56. Breaks the toe again for Short as he moves to the right side of the racetrack at the end of the Kemmel Straight.
Woohoo! Side by side, look at them slide through the corner. Short's going to push Hartley wide. That's going to give an opportunity for Emma to try and go around the outside of both of them. Short's going to be able to hold on to that second position, but that moves Emmett up to third. Hartley falling back into the clutches of Brady, who decides to back out of it. Now they go through into the downhill.
Still one more drafting section to go. The wild final chicane after Blanchamont. The question is, who will be in the best position to try something right now, because all that shuffling allowed Mulbrand about a 3-car length cushion in the 56. Is that enough of a cushion in the final corner?
Steven Van Opsal got DNF because of incidents, so he's out of that pack. That makes this an 8-car pack.
Which of these drivers will take the W? Berger is also out. He was in 13th after the black flag penalty. Mulbrand earlier on the brakes compared to the rest of the top 5. Make it top 6. Can he get to the checkered flag is the question. Still up through the final parts of the chicanes through Campus.
Evans got the make on Short. He's going to bump him wide, make him lose a little bit of momentum. That might have given Mulbrand the win. He's pushing Short through the corner, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Are they going to be able to get to the back of Mulbrand by the time they get to the chicane? I'm not sure.
Into the drafting section they go. Mulbrand separation, half a second. They're fighting for second position on the track. Eben trying to work with Short. Will they be able to try and dive on Mulbrand? Mulbrand's subway machine towards the final chicane. Here comes the draft. Short with the run. Short to the left side of the track. Can he make it work on the high side? Hartley tries to dive it in. Tries to get towards the bumper. Bobbles around. There's contact. Multiple drivers spin off the final corner. Who's going to take it? Hartley's got it.
Hartley, avoiding all of the contact, is able to cross the line in first. This will be a contested finish for sure. Clifford Evan coming home in second, and Ari Haro coming home in the third position. Wow, what a finish.
It's going to be an interesting result, to say the very least. A thrilling finish between these drivers. Hawken is amongst the drivers still battling for position, who now, with all of that, especially with some of them involved in potential incident point scenarios, he's now in a spot to potentially gain some points as they still fight.
Yeah, Nick Carty's coming across the line now. He was in a battle with Jonas Seeger, but Peter Volstroll looking to try and challenge him. That's going to put Nick Carty is going to finish in the 13th position out of, well, he was 19th coming across the line, but we still have some battles going on at the back of the pack. This is for 20th, 21st and 22nd.
Yeah, still some drivers shuffling along to try and finish off some big moves. Austin J. Smith has just run out of fuel coming to the line. He was scored 22nd and is slowly coming across the stripe in front of this battle. This is for 24th, where Peter Magoa, we haven't talked about too much about him or the 666 machine, look to shuffle out to the finish line, and they'll come across the stripe in 24th and 25th. Make it 19th and 20th. With all the cycling.
So we have a battle between these drivers. Oh my goodness, late dive for Olivier Viroli trying to make it work here. Let's see what the Travis Frankie can do the over-under. He can. He's going to have enough grunt to make the pass. They're going to come to the line. It's going to be neck and neck, but Olivier's going to pull it out.
Well, how about that for a finish, to say the very least, Adam? Crazy finish to this one. A lot, and I mean a lot, to unpack in post-race coverage after these messages. You're watching the Global SimRacing Channel for the Big C's MX-5 Challenge from the virtual circuit to Spa-Francorchamps. Welcome back, everyone, to the minus 273 post-race show. After what was a phenomenal finish here today at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, a crazy, spectacle-filled finish. Today's post-race coverage again presented by Minus 273, whether it's on the real track or the virtual track. Minus 273 has one goal in mind: to produce the best racing gloves to get the job done. With unmatched comfort, durability, and style, the gloves will leave your old ones in the dust. Find out how they can help you by visiting minus273.biz. And the driver who left them all in the dust of the checker flag in a crazy carnage-filled finish in the final chicane, Robert Hartley, using his dodging techniques to take the checker flag. He started from the pole. Clifford Evan +7 at the checker flag, 1 second back in that crazy finish. Hyrule finished in third, Matt Fernandez up to fourth, Christian Lindroff in fifth. Jose Malbran, he led into the final chicane, looked in the greatest position, then contact in turn 20 corner exit puts him in P number 6. Maxim Bunovic, 48th spot starting today. He finished in P number 7, near 40 positions gained today, with Miroslav Natalchik in 8th spot, Nicholas Penor in 9th, and Brandon Hawken. We talked about the quiet day for him. With all of the incidents at the end of the race in that final corner, he moves into points-paying positions into P number 10.
Andrew Horsley finishes P11, climbing from 32nd for a 21 place gain. Jonas Sager gains his exact race finishing position, 12 spots up to 12th. Then we have Nick Carty in 13th and Peter Vostrol in 14th, up from 33rd. Impressive. Also, Soshi Ishimaru comes home in 15th position, up quite a few spots from 49th as well. Then we have Pavel Simonek, who unfortunately had, I believe, connection issues there, but still finishes on the lead lap, with Austin J. Smith in 17th. Then we have Shane Cameron in 18th position and Piotr Margula coming home in 19th position, with Julian Villaret rounding out your top 20.
Check that with Simonek, had contact as mentioned in La Source that led to a black flag for the air driver involved. In 21st, Maeda in 21st position, Slavin in 22nd, Perot in 23rd. Travis Schwenke, we talked about him, one of the contenders potentially, but was involved in that incident, finished in 24th. Meanwhile, a near +20 finish for Lee Martin in 25th spot today, Hubert's in 26th, Simon Folding in 27th, Geisler in 28th, Fabian Pons in 29th, and Jack Andronek in the top 30.
31st is going to be Pablo Loves, and then Nicholas Short coming home in 32nd place after the incidents in the final corner, finishing 1 lap down. That is a tough finish for him. Steven Van Opstal also with incidents, finishing 33rd. Kenny Brady 34th. Jean-Francois Pinot 35th, also 1 lap down. Nicholas Berger 36th. These were all drivers we saw battling for the lead at the end. 37th is going to be Rachel Williams, with Sean Tretiak in 38th position, Tyler Max in 39th, and Graham D. Sanders 40th.
Renaud Lefebvre in 41st, Liam Sheen in 42nd, Gareth Brockos by 8 laps down, 43rd, Nico Kako having a rough finish today. He was one of the drivers inside the top 15, finished in 44th rather. Max Brady, Adam Mariuk, Marcus Altonen, 48th. James Sharp had a bad start, was involved in the big one in 48th. Kaiki Main, 49th. Nico Ariolomi in the big one in 50th. And Abozak Budabut in 51st. 4 drivers did not make the start, but the man who finished in 2nd position is standing by here in the broadcast booth. It's Clifford Evan. My goodness, what a finish. What was your perspective in the craziest finish I think we've seen in a while on GSRC?
Oh, well, I knew that something was going to happen going into that final chicane. It's just inevitable at this racetrack. Heavy braking zone at such high speeds down into a right-left super sharp turn. I unfortunately knew that something was going to happen, and when it did, I just tried to get through it the best I could there. I managed 2nd place because of some DQs from other people, but that was insane.
Let's talk about the effort to get yourself in that position to potentially come away with a victory, though, today, because you started in the 9th position, there was the incident behind, and then at the start of the race, you actually made it 3 wide to get to the head of your group, and you guys slowly but surely reeled in the rest of the top 5 in the span of about 4 or 5 laps. How difficult was that to try and get everyone lined up and focused and put yourself in many areas in the conversation to win it?
That was super hard. I had to drive my butt off, but it took a lot of great teamwork, and I have mad respect for Nick Short, Stephen Van Opstel, Ari Haro, who all just stayed patient and trusted the process that we could shave off those tenths. And then all it takes is about 1.5 to 2 seconds, and then you're fully in the train. So once we got there, then it was game on.
Indeed, but what was your strategy in terms of that final few laps in that race? Because everyone matched up on fuel strategy, everyone shuffled about for the race lead back and forth. What was your strategy before the big kaboom?
Well, I just tried to stay with the lead pack and then conserve incident points as well, because everyone was racking up incident points. And like I said before, contact on the final lap was pretty much inevitable, so I tried to keep a spare 4x, and I had to keep it at 15x so I wouldn't get DQ'd in the event of a 4x contact. So I just had to try to keep it safe and hang on, but that race was insane. Fantastic racing by all the guys.
It was a fantastic race, absolutely, from start to finish. But the next race, we go to Monza next, and another big drafting track with a lot of speed around that circuit. Your thoughts on Monza?
I'm okay there. Again, gotta try to learn all the new tracks almost from the ground up with the new tire model and the new engine. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm not the best, but I'll put in some practice and try my best.
Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yes, I would like to thank my team, Asbury Motorsports, for all the help they give me, GSRC for the great broadcasts, and all the league members for the fantastic first half of the season.
Congratulations on the phenomenal finish and being a part of what was the craziest finish I think we've seen in all of 2019.
Thank you.
Clifford Evans second today, +7. Meanwhile, standing by with Adam is Christian Lindroff. Adam?
Yeah, Christian Lindroff, 5th place, but I know you wanted more. You came out of the pits in the lead, got shuffled back to 4th, and then got shuffled back even farther before you saw a bunch of incidents happen at the final corner. How tough was it to keep control of your car as you kept getting pushed wide?
Well, that race was even more exciting than I expected, and I got 3 times somebody bumped my ass. So in the end, a few more inks also. I had 19 inks in last lap, so the race was there. It was little bit frustrating because I had some speed and I was thinking that I might be in a podium. Well, in the end, everything played quite well for me, so justice happened.
Yeah, definitely. We apologize to our viewers for the language, but Christian, when you were battling in that pack of the draft, like how hard was it to try and manage where you were going to go and try and figure out how to make passes up there with how difficult the draft was?
Yeah, that race was more like a chess than a normal racing, and I liked it. I liked it, even it's maybe fastest guy doesn't win in this kind of racing, but it's fun, and that's most important for me.
Definitely. Well, Christian, great finish, even regarding everything that happened during the race. And is there anyone you want to thank today?
Yeah, I want to thank Bar Olarius in my neighborhood. There is guys cheering for me, and I hope they liked what they saw, and it was definitely one of my best races in this league. Maybe someday I will be in podium too, and of course I must thank my teammates, and Ari Hara was unbelievable today. And of course you guys, you're doing great broadcast.
Well, thank you, Christian, and we look forward to seeing you next time out. And that was Christian Lindroth, our 5th place finisher today. And back to you, Justin.
Thank you very much, Adam. Real quickly, your final thoughts before we say goodbye.
It was a crazy...
A quick final thought from Adam there. A crazy race and a crazy finish, to say the very least. But we'd like to thank GTR Simulator, Sim Racing Studio, Turn Racing, and -273 for sponsoring today's racing action, as well as the series title sponsor, Big C's. Also want to be able to thank SH8 Shifter for being the sponsor for the Big C's MX-5 Challenge. We also like to thank series organizer Clifford Evan for not just organizing this eventful series, but organizing what was an eventful race, to say the very least, today. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware as well for a broadcast listed up on your screen now. With additional thanks to Jude LeWand, who provides her wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a more hold of her great work. Thanks to the team today once again, and Adam and Sean. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global SimRacing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you don't miss a moment here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Next race, we go to the Autodromo Nacional Monza, or also known as the Monza-Eni Circuit. It should be an absolute thriller as we go back to another drafting circuit. Same time, same dial, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on January the 5th. We also have upcoming races for other series listed up on your screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.